Hello and welcome to another session of Therapy and Panels. I had the thought the other day while going through the very small amount of Christmas books that I had, and it also, with the saying Happy Holidays, I realized, why does Christmas always have to get the fun around this time of year? So, I decided to do a little bit of looking around, and while it took a while, I did manage to at least find a digital copy of the book that we're going to be going today, which is a Batman comic that talks about Hanukkah. Anyone who isn't aware, this comic is based off the cartoon Batman the Brave and the Bold that aired on Cartoon Network from 2008 to 2011. It was a fun show that had Batman team up with a random hero from the DC universe to take down a villain and had that fun Silver Age of comics feel to it. What we will be looking at is a continuation from the show, but in comic books instead. There isn't really much else that I can say with this or books creation, so let's take a look and see how The Dark Knight handles a different holiday compared to most other people of the world. The cover has an interesting POV shot thing going with these two random fists getting ready to throw hands with Batman and the hero he will be teaming up with today, known as Ragman. Now, for anyone not having obscure comic book knowledge like myself, Ragman is a hero named Rory Regan who possesses a suit that looks like a bunch of old rags, with each patch possessed by a corrupt or evil person seeking redemption, giving Rory all of the abilities they knew in life. I guess that when he uses the suit after each successful mission, a soul gains redemption, moving on to the afterlife. So, going off of that, is he still gonna have like the rags, or do they disappear each time they get redeemed? Because going off of that image, I'm assuming that during one of the last few missions, he's gonna end up coming into battle looking like Adam from the biblical story. We begin the story with Batman and Blue Beetle fighting against three villains named Crazy Quilt, Rainbow Raider, and Dr. Spectro, who have combined their might to turn all the white snow rainbow colored. The Fiends. The heroes are unimpressed and quickly take down all three of the villains so we can have a white Christmas once again. Sometime later, we cut to Rory Regan working at his pawn shop, talking with the rabbi, who suggests to Rory to bring down his father's old menorah to light since Hanukkah is almost here, until a cry for help is called and Rory goes off to become Ragman. Moon Prism Power! It turns out some dude stole an elderly lady's car full of empty bottles and whatnot. I'm assuming she is going to turn in for some money, but last I was aware of, you don't get much from that, so it's really weird for a guy to rob this and get sent to prison for the equivalent of $10. But then again, I don't know this guy's financial situation, so what do I know? Batman arrives out of the blue because he's Batman and congratulates Ragman, who goes into a rant on how none of what he does truly matters, as while he got the lady her stuff back, she is still going to be searching through garbage to get money just for food, and how Batman, who spends his time in big cities fighting supervillains, truly couldn't understand the thought about all of this. It's a good discussion to talk about, but at least all the Batman stuff that I'm always watched and seen, he's a guy who does his best to help with small crime-ridden neighborhoods through charities and anything he can think of from his CEO position at Wayne Enterprises. I'll let it pass for now since Ragman, I assume, is not aware of Batman's secret identity. Anyway, Batman tries to explain that there is only so much one man can do, but Rory isn't having any of it, especially when this company called McGuffin Group keeps buying out buildings in the neighborhood to build luxury apartments for basically the rich. Before they can continue, they hear something happening, which turns out to be a group of thugs trying to burn down the neighborhood synagogue. The people in the neighborhood come to help as well, but thankfully our heroes arrive to make sure no lives are taken, and they quickly deal with the thugs. After dealing with the thugs, Ragman talks with the rabbi about why he stays in this neighborhood, since things like this happens at least once every day, and it all just seems so meaningless. The rabbi explains about how his people have suffered much worse throughout history, and gives everyone an explanation on the origins of Hanukkah. Ooh, and here's the part that I was most interested to read about. Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek army invaded Israel and took over the Holy Temple. The Jewish army, called the Maccabees, my apologies for mispronouncing this, even though outnumbered, fought back and through a miracle defeated the Greek army. During repairs, they discovered the menorah in the temple that is supposed to be lit all the time is no longer lit, and that they only had enough oil to light it for a day's top, and it would take 8 days to make more of the oil. However, through the miracle of God, the menorah managed to stay lit for all 8 days. Rackman, still not understanding the point, gets told by the rabbi about the miracle God gave the neighborhood with people like him helping them out. And Batman manages to reveal to everyone after looking through one of the thugs' cell phones that the MacGuffin Group hired them to destroy the synagogue when the rabbi refused to sell the building to them. This starts having everyone put two and two together, realizing that the crime in the area going up lately has been due to the company trying to kick everyone out so that they can buy the buildings and create these luxury apartments. And our two heroes decide to do something about this. And with that, I'm gonna have to end it here, so that way you guys, if you find it interesting enough, to go look for this yourselves, either digitally or if you can find a physical copy, then find out how this ends yourselves. But for my final thoughts, I actually like this a lot more than I thought I would have. I really like Rory in this story, as he's very relatable with his frustrations and the lessons he learns. Because I myself have really had these thoughts myself about why I keep even going with it. No matter how hard you work or how hard you be a good person, all this stuff just keeps happening. But the rabbi teaches him that God, and through all these miracles, shows that there is a point to all this, no matter how small of a difference it makes. And also for someone who only celebrated Christmas his whole life, it is a nice and interesting way to teach anyone about the origins of Hanukkah. And with that, it is the end of today's session. I, as always, would like to thank you all for watching. And if you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And as always, I am the Super Guru, signing off.